Just a few days after his case was dismissed, Ammon Bundy is speaking out. He and his family were accused of leading an armed uprising against federal agents near their ranch in Nevada 4 years ago.
But on Monday, their case was thrown out and the Bundys continue to defend their actions. New tonight, our Morgan Boydston spoke with Ammon Bundy today. She joins us now with what he has to say now that he's a free man. Morgan.
Yeah, I went to Bundy's home in Emmett to find out if he still stands by his actions and why. He was reflective and steadfast in defending both his armed standoffs, the one in Nevada in 2014 and the militant standoff 2 years ago in Oregon. In both cases, the ranchers and militia leader Ryan Payne came out scot-free.
It's very important that when we see that they're overstepping their bounds, no matter what it is, that we put them back in that box.
Ammon, his brother Ryan, and their father Cliven Bundy continue to defend their 2014 armed standoff with federal authorities in Nevada that resulted in a trial, which ended earlier this week with the case and criminal charges being dismissed. A chief U.S. district judge criticized prosecutors for what she calls, quote, willful violations of rights and failing to turn over evidence to their lawyer.
To be able to actually have a district court judge say that, it just vindicates that the reason why we did this, not because we wanted to pick a fight. We did it because we knew that there was an issue here and it needed to be, there needed attention to it. They just flat out lied. They basically came to kill our family. They surrounded us with snipers. And then they wanted to lie about all, like none of that happened, and they were caught.
The Bundys led the standoff against agents who wanted to seize Cliven's cattle over decades of unpaid grazing fees.
So my family's grazed there for 141 years this year. And we have vested property rights deeded with the state of Nevada, and the federal government will not recognize them because they say we own the land.
The government claims the Bundys recruited armed supporters to stand with them. Authorities eventually backed down, but Cliven was arrested a couple years later. In January 2015, Ryan and Ammon led a high-profile armed occupation, this time of a wildlife refuge in Harney County, Oregon. The two were sent to prison, but a jury acquitted them of that case in October.
Do you guys think you went about it in the proper way to get what you intended to get?
Well, there was a couple things, about that. And one is we had to do something to bring attention to what they were doing to the Hammonds and what they're doing to Harney County. We also know that the Constitution, the Second Amendment, says that a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state.
Now out of prison, Ammon is back home in Emmett, Idaho.
And we spent 2 years in prison knowing that in the end we'd be vindicated. And so, but when it finally came, it was just almost surreal.
Their cases being thrown out reinforces their stance against government overreach and claims that states control federal land in the West. Ammon says it's his duty to continue to bring exposure and stand for what he feels is wrong.
Do you have any regrets from the last few years?
No, I really don't. Because most of what has been so difficult and the suffering and being kept away from my children was all done under the pretense of just brute force. And so I don't know how I could have, other than just not standing, I don't know how I could have prevented the tremendous amount of suffering that my family and I have gone through. There is a God in heaven. He does want us to be free, and he gives those the advantage that do what is right.
On the other side, environmental groups say federal land already belongs to the people, and federal control ensures the public has access.